Oh, this is the Wandering Minds. I'm Mickey.
I'm Mike. Today our guest is Evan Michael. Evan, what's up, my man?
Oh, just enjoying the sunshine, the nice sunny weather. It's coming out.
It's so nice.
We have had some good.
Thanks for having me on. I've been following your page for a while. It's been cool to watch all the people I know come on here, and I've always heard great things about you. And then I finally got to meet you at the powerlifting meet. Right. It was like meeting a local celebrity. It was really cool. Right.
That's awesome. This guy right here, we competed. Mm-hmm. I competed on Father's Day. He competed the day before me. Okay. And his numbers were, what did you get total? You were 15?
Just shy. I want to say it was just shy of 1580.
Yeah.
Which is about what I was hoping for in a goal, battling a back injury that's never gotten better. Yeah.
But even with the back injury, you still got what on your deadlift?
512.
512, and what was your squat?
600. That one sucked, man. When I picked it up off the bar, I thought it was. I mean, it looked a lot faster on film. Yeah. But when I got it off that rack, I was like, oh man.
Really?
Yeah.
It didn't look like that. It looked like you had complete dominance over that weight. It really did. What was your bench?
Like 3?
447.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
Bench is always my strong. I never had really many upper body injuries. I've hurt my shoulder and broken an arm, but that was when I was younger.
Right.
Nowadays, it's the old man stuff. I'm 41, almost 42, and it's lower back, knees.
Right, yeah.
I'm also.
And that's the problems I deal with a lot now. It's all lower body.
Yeah.
Back, knees. Cracking, bubble wrap every
Snap,
morning.
Crackle, popping,
every morning bubble wrap getting out of bed.
Every time Mickey moves, you can hear.
It's true.
That's my knees. Just when I move spots over here, they're popping.
So tell me about yourself. Tell me about yourself, starting from wherever you want to start. I want to know a little bit about you. The world wants to know.
Let's go back to the meet though.
Okay.
With your numbers and stuff. Was this your first one?
My first meet?
Yeah.
Fourth or fifth. Okay, I did a non-sanctioned meet at a Genuine Fitness back in February.
Was that this year?
Yes.
Okay.
And that was a lot of fun. Jamie, Jamie. Yep. Jamie's the one that talked me into it because Aaron reached out to us and it was rough, man. I had bronchitis and I had all this nasty stuff going on. And then I had my neck injury, which I think I just slept wrong because I wasn't really lifting heavy at the time.
Right.
And so Jamie's like, let's just do it, man. See how we do. We don't have to take it serious. It's not like we're gonna have any
it's not
big time numbers
anyway. So
and Jamie and I killed it.
Right. Yeah.
Killed it. We were the top 2 lifters there. It was a lot of fun to do, and it put Anytime Fitness, the gym we go to, kind of on the local map because when you ask a lot of people about Anytime Fitness, at least around here, I don't know how the other locations are. They think it's like one of those gyms that's all hammer strength and elliptical machines. You ask anyone, even guys at other gyms, will be like, Anytime Fitness, that's a powerlifting gym?
Right.
And I don't know if you ever met Dave or Jerry. They own and run the place.
Those are actually, Jerry and Dave are my cousins.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, I never knew that. Yeah. Great people. I know them.
I love them.
When I first went there, it was Mike that was running the place, I believe. Yeah.
Which is funny because his name is Evan Michael. My cousin's name is Michael Evans. He was named after me, actually.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow, solid name then.
After you?
Yeah.
For real? You're not just bullshitting?
No, he was named after me. Yeah.
And so, they've been great through the whole thing. When we first started there, they were in an old kids sports building behind, next to the Winco.
Yeah, I remember.
And I mean, it was cracked roofs, leaking.
But they tried to make that really nice. It was the owners of the buildings that didn't do what they needed.
They wouldn't do anything to help them.
It was so nice because back then, my cousin Jason was more in control.
Yeah, Jason and Melanie.
He was trying to do so much cool shit with that stuff, and just the owners of the building just didn't do anything with it. Is that where you started at Anytime? Was way over there? Whenever it was over there?
No, 24 Hour Fitness is where I actually started lifting. Okay. That's how I met Jamie and all those guys, Matt. And so what got me into lifting was a guy named, you probably met him, Anthony McDonald. Mm-hmm. He was a fighter at the time. Familiar, So back in the day, I used to train and do all that stuff in MMA, boxing stuff. That was my original sport.
Yeah, you were a boxer. Yeah.
Right, and so me and Anthony go way back, know, and he was working out with these guys named Matt and Jeff and Mike Hartley and stuff, real big guy, real big strong guys, and I wasn't losing the flame in boxing, but I was too old to go. I was in my 30s. I was like, I don't know if I really want to take this that far. I had some fun with some local smokers, and did really well. And you got that bird on your shoulder talking like, maybe you should try pro, and I'm like, no, man, I'm too old for that. That was my mentality. Yeah, and it may have been the wrong mentality. I think I made the right choice overall.
How old were you at that time?
about 35.
Yeah.
36.
I mean, I think you were right.
And
though,
I'm not
you know
Triple
what I mean?
G, man. Triple G is gonna box until he's 50.
Yeah.
That guy can go down. That's a one in a lifetime
Yeah.
kind of guy.
Yeah.
And started getting into it with lifting, and Matt and Jeff, they went over to Anytime Fitness, and I kind of just stayed with Myron Johnson's West Eugene Boxing, and that kind of bounced around.
We had Myron on here, yeah.
Myron's great.
Yeah.
Love that guy. He's the one that really motivated. There was a guy that had a gym behind Weimar's. Wasn't there very long. I can't remember the name of it. They were based out of Washington, and Lonnie, and I couldn't tell you his last. I want to say it was like Lonnie Russell or something. He was a boxing coach there.
Okay.
And that kind of really got me into it.
Yeah.
And they just we went there one day. It was like Izzy's. We just showed up there one day, and there was boards up in the window. We're like, whoa, what happened? There's no equipment in there. No one told us anything.
Yeah.
And then I think I randomly wrote something on Facebook like, hey, I'm looking for a boxing gym, and Myron hit me up.
Cool.
And so I coming out, and Myron got me into it really big. And
right on.
Within a year, I was fighting.
Yeah.
And that was kind of, it was fun, but it was also disappointing at the same time, because in amateur boxing, there's never a set contract. So
yeah,
they'd be like, okay, we got a guy for Albany that wants to box, but your guys are going to box at the Dishman up in Portland. You show up there, and the guy doesn't show up.
Yeah,
and there's no other
that
fighters.
A lot. Actually,
it happens so much, and I think my amateur record was 7-1.
Nice.
It was really good. I lost my second to last match against a guy that was twice my size and hometown guy. It was a great fight.
Cool.
And after that, it just kind of started fading on me anyways, and I got tired of traveling. I went clear down to Klamath Falls, and the guy never showed. And then he showed up like an hour before, as I was going back home. Yeah. He shows up like 10 minutes before we were scheduled.
Wow.
No weigh-ins, and you can't have any facial hair, so you gotta go in there and dry shave and stuff. And I think I was about Sutherland, Roseburg area, and they called me up like, hey, if you want to turn around. I was like, no, I'm not getting paid for this. It's fun for me.
Yeah,
it was like a hobby.
It's a hobby. Yeah,
kind of like this weightlifting stuff. You know?
Right. Yeah. So then from boxing you transitioned into lifting.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Have you always been big? Have you always been a big dude?
Yes, I've always been I went through a growth spurt like at 15.
I'm still waiting on mine. Man. It's taking forever.
It could happen. I went through a huge growth spurt. I was a real short and chunky kid through middle school.
Really?
Yeah.
You're fairly tall now.
I was bullied
I mean,
a lot,
everybody's
man.
tall to me, but you're pretty tall.
I was like, if I can compare it, it was like an Eric Cartman. I should have brought my 7th grade picture. It was bad. I was about as wide as I was tall.
Yeah.
And I was just a kid. I didn't pay attention to diet or anything like that. I had parents that worked all the time, so I got away with murder. I could eat whatever I want.
Yeah.
And I think that was cans of raviolis and stuff back in those days.
Yeah, probably, right.
Sunrise to sunset, I'd get off school, I'd be like, oh, I guess I can just microwave something.
It actually tasted good.
Right.
Now I bought it and it's not.
It's horrible.
Good. No,
it's
everything
horrible.
tastes horrible anymore.
Yeah.
And I think 9th grade, I just grew taller.
Just shot up.
Yeah, I didn't lose much weight.
Start kicking the bullies' asses at that point, or what?
No, my dad. So there was a couple incidents, and my dad put me in boxing, and my uncle Steven was a Golden Glove boxer back in the Midwest.
Cool.
And kind of what got him there was so he was a gay man growing up in the 70s.
So he had to fight, right?
Yeah. So it was rough.
Yeah,
I mean, it's still rough for a lot of people, but in the Midwest, off a right next to a reservation, it was really rough. So he got into boxing, got really good at it.
Yeah.
And then would kind of be in my ear about it. You know, you need to go into boxing, you need to do this. So my dad got me into boxing. There used to be this gym in downtown Springfield called Hard Knocks.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I think it's a museum now.
Yeah.
And that's what got me into it. I'd go in there and mess around, then I started wrestling, started doing stuff.
That's good, though.
And like most high school bully stories, I think there's 1 or 2 incidents, and then everyone left me alone.
Yeah.
Which is what you want.
Yeah.
I wasn't a bully myself. I didn't mess with people. I just wanted to be left alone.
Yeah, you just did like your time, right?
Old man Gran Torino, you know, just leave me alone, get off my lawn, I'm okay.
Yeah.
And so after that, I was fine. Yeah. It went great, and on and off was boxing for the most part.
You know, I hear that a lot where I personally wish that I got encouraged to go into something like boxing, or MMA was not because I'm 48, so MMA was not a thing until I was already in like my 20s and shit, like where I was already in kiddie prison, kiddie jail, and prison by the time I could have been dialed into like because I was street fighters. I was a street dude when I
Prison
was
rules, though,
younger.
man. You probably learned some cool shit.
Yeah, you do some shit in there.
Yeah.
you definitely learn some stuff, but you also learn how to do your own time, right? You know what I mean? But so it's really nice to hear, or it's good to hear that people have been geared towards like boxing, like a safe environment to do stuff in, because the streets is a fucking dangerous place to learn that type of life. But I wish I don't wish, because I am who I am today because of what I went through when I was younger. But I just wonder at times, it's like, where would my life be now had I like gone into this legitimate side of things rather than like the hard knock side of things. But it's cool that you got like somebody, encouraged you into like a safe fighting space, and that's good. So you've kind of been into that for quite a while then.
I think I boxed for about 15 years.
Yeah. Interesting.
I wasn't much of a wrestler. I liked it.
Yeah.
It was cool, but I didn't see any future in that.
Right. Yeah.
So I got what I needed to do in wrestling. I did pretty good. I didn't do awesome, but I was one of those kids thrown in as a young man, freshman, sophomore, wrestling these all state dudes from like Churchill, and Thurston, like some badass dudes,
right.
And I got mopped a bunch. It taught me a lot too.
Yeah.
But
wrestling's a great sport. I wrestled
hard,
when I was
man.
younger. Yeah, it's very hard, but it also teaches you, ground combat, right? And that's what a lot of people, especially women, I think, need, like jiu-jitsu, wrestling type of knowledge, at least some type of knowledge of that.
Those were the two things that was always brought on by everyone I talked to, that like the two main street ones, and I'm sure a lot of people. I've never knocked any martial art. I think any martial art you can do is great. Even Taibo. Taibo will at least it'll teach you the movements, man.
Stuff. Yeah, right.
And you get your lungs from it.
Right, yeah.
And so I never was one to knock a martial art.
Right.
I thought any sort of knowledge of a combat martial art, whatever it is, you have an understanding.
Yeah.
Because most people will teach you when you do martial arts, it's to get you out of a bad situation.
Yeah.
Some people unfortunately use it to start a bad situation.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can relate. Remember back in the 20 years ago when all the dudes used to walk around in rhinestone shirts in the bar?
Yeah.
Man. Weird times.
Yeah.
Weird times. Those people are growing up with families now, and you're like, hey, remember that? And they're just like, oh, man, I remember that guy. But, no, I still hit the heavy bag a little bit.
Yeah,
it's,
good. Well, and I've talked to this with many, especially men, and especially our age, like, you're Gen X range, right? So we know that type of mentality where it's important for men to be strong, honorable, but dangerous if they need to be, right? But within control. Like if you learn like any type of martial arts or any type of combat, it's to get you out of trouble. It shouldn't be taught to get you into trouble. Yeah. And that's the point of it. It's to keep the beast at bay, so to speak, right? But if you need to use it, you have it to use.
You have a tool.
Yeah. It's
kind of like that saying, it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war.
Yeah, exactly.
Very relatable.
Exactly. Well, and the thing is that, and I hear that a lot, the prerequisite is battle.
Yeah.
You have to be battle tested to understand that you're a warrior that needs to be calm, right? And that's what a lot of people and I get in this conversation a lot because we also have a lot of fighters on here. It's like most people shouldn't run their mouths. Just stop talking, right? Because if you're a knight in shining armor, that means your armor hasn't been tested, right?
Yeah, it shouldn't be shining, man. It should be dented and rusted.
Right? Stitches, scratches, bruises. Chicks dig it, right?
Yeah, well, it's kind of those guys you see at the bar. There's been a couple times where I've had lippy friends and get into it, and I'll look at the guy he's mouthing off to, and he has cauliflower, and I'll be like, yo,
stay the fuck away from that dude.
This is a bad move, man. You should go sit over here type thing.
Anybody with cauliflower ears, you stay the fuck away from.
Yeah, and so it worked every time.
Yeah.
I never had to, scrape one of my friends off the pavement.
Well, you were a bouncer, right?
Yeah, that was...
Those were the days, right?
That was a pretty crazy... I think it was about 3 years.
Yeah.
I did... 2 local bars here, and then I did a topless bar for a little bit. I was just a doorman, though.
Which one was the most difficult? Was it the topless bar?
Yes and no. It depends on your coworkers, man. Because a lot of the one I was at, I think it was called the Silver Dollar.
Okay.
They had they had a lot of really cool bouncers there that were, either fighters or well trained, and they were really good at de-escalating. And then I went to a couple downtown bars. I can't remember what they were called, and all the bouncers there had their tight shirts on, and was kind of mean mugging everybody. It's like it makes the whole vibe like uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, because you're already putting people at a certain mentality.
Yeah,
like, okay, this guy's a dick, so when I get drunk, maybe I'm gonna be a dick too.
Mm-hmm.
That sucks.
I had to deal with that sometimes. Being a bigger guy, people think, oh, you're not so big. And it's like, okay, how about if I just buy you a beer and we'll just let bygones? And it worked every time. Whether I bought him a beer, offered to get him a bag of, or a bowl of fries or something, just give him something. Yeah. And it kind of, I don't know how it deters it. Men are always about beer and food,
right?
So it's a good deterrent. You know?
They see that you're a nice guy. I mean, and that's the problem. It's like there's a weight class for a reason. There's weight classes for a reason.
Oh yeah.
But a lot of people, especially when you're like me, you're like you got that little man complex. Then you add alcohol to it. It's like, what a fucking nightmare. What a nightmare.
It can get out of control. I never really dealt with much there. There was I wasn't even a bouncer for this, but back in like mid 2000s, out at Joggers, and I can't remember if the other bar was still Rock and Roll. They had that Four Corners battle out there.
Yeah.
And it was a post-fight celebration, and 99% of those guys, after the fight's over. Everyone's cool with each other. You do your little call out or whatever. Everyone's good to go. Yeah. I don't know what happened to this day. Someone said something to somebody, and in the middle of this, right next to the Holt Center, just huge 30-on-30 brawl. And at the time, I was at this gym called Northwest Training Center, and me and, oh man, I can't remember this guy's name. We were pulling all our guys away, like, no, let's get out of here. We got to go. And it was almost like it was planned, because I've never seen such a fast cop response.
Really?
It seemed like 10-second count. There was already 2 of them there. Wow. And then 4 were there. There was a bunch of them there.
Wow.
And we got out of there okay. They understood the situation. But that's how fast it escalated. It went from everyone having a good time to just dishes flying out the window and people rolling around on the ground. Yeah. In a blink of an eye. It was unreal. Yeah, I've never seen anything like that in person before. Right. I never dealt with that as a bouncer. The most things I had to deal with the bouncers at the time, Motorola Razors were the big thing, so people would always try to sneak their little pictures. Oh, yeah. And you're like, dude, you got to delete that.
Of the strippers?
Oh, yeah. Oh. The dancers and stuff.
Oh, yeah, the dancers, sorry about that.
And the strippers, dance, same thing. Yeah. And so they would tell us specifically before each night, each shift, like, don't let these guys pull their phones out unless they're pointing at the ground. There's a designated area out there that can use their phones, kind of like smoking. Sure. It's zero tolerance, man. We can't put up with that stuff. Yeah, yeah. Well, and that makes sense. I never had issues with it. I always go up there and ask them to, and then I know it's not the best rewarding bad behavior, but they weren't dicks about it. They'd be like, okay, you know what, I'm sorry. I just got a divorce. I was like, that's fine, man. Here, have a beer on me. Yeah. It gets better. Right. I could kind of relate. I went through a really nasty divorce, man. And so, yeah, I didn't. My what was the term I'm thinking? The way of dealing with it wasn't by doing that, though. That's what just fueled me for lifting and all the other stuff. Cool. Was that? Yeah. I didn't have that kind of
like coping mechanism.
Yeah, I didn't cope with it by going and looking at strangers'
tits, especially paying for it. I mean, I ain't trying to hate, but I ain't trying to pay.
Yeah, nothing against those. Nothing against that or anything. It just wasn't for me.
Yeah. That's not my gig either.
The worst part about that job was seeing your married buddies come in.
Really? Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, we're cool, right?" And you're like, "No, man, you just had a little baby. You need to go home."
That's just awkward to me. It's super odd. And again, I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm not trying to be judgmental. It may sound like it, but it's like you got a wife at home, that hopefully you got a good relationship. Hopefully your wife is beautiful. Maybe not. I don't know. But it's like, why you out at a strip club wasting your mortgage money on some chick that you don't even fucking know just to see her body? That I don't get it. I don't get it at all. And I know a lot of people that do that shit.
I never understood it either, man.
It blows me away.
And most of the friends I saw that were married, their wives were gorgeous. They had a perfect family. I mean, maybe I was deceived by social media. Yeah. It's very deceiving. Right, yeah. But at the same time, it's like, man, your wife's gorgeous. What, you guys have been married 10 years? Yeah. Does she know about, because, I'd hear that excuse, a little spice. Does she know about this spice? Is this something you put in the chili when she turned her head, They don't know that. Yeah. And so it's like, maybe go home and try to work that spice in with her instead of
yeah, exactly. Have her do the stuff for you. Well, and it's like I always think, okay, how would I feel if my wife is out watching dudes do this shit, right? Fuck that. That shit would not. I would not. Would you? I mean,
would I go to a Chippendales thing?
Yeah, like a male strip.
No, because men's bodies are not like.
I get it's different. Usually they're just with their shirts off.
Yeah.
The whole fireman spiel.
Right.
I feel like for a lot of women when they go to those like events, because there's not like men's strip clubs, right? There's female strip clubs. It's more like the idea of it, like, oh, we're gonna get together like with a group of girlfriends and go see whatever it's called.
The Chippendales or whatever.
Like it's more like an event to have fun versus like, oh, we need to add some spice to our home lives or whatever.
Yeah.
Big difference.
Yeah, I think so, because it just seems different to me, right?
Yeah.
Would I go to one? It's not like on my bucket list whatsoever.
Yeah.
If I was with like a group of 10 girlfriends, maybe.
I've seen a lot of couples go together and do that stuff.
Yeah. I have too.
It's still weird. It's still odd to me, but hey, that's their thing.
That's their thing.
Not on me.
I wouldn't think that would be any different than like watching porn together, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess
that's another relationship ruiner, man. That stuff's way too accessible now.
Really?
Porn?
Oh, porn.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Yeah.
I hate that it's become like a normal.
Yeah, it has definitely
ruins everything.
Well, it has all the aspects around that, even the music now. Like, I don't want to sound like a fucking old lady, but I'm an old lady. And we're the same age, by the way. Just the way that, like, everything is portrayed with, like, it's acceptable. Sexuality, right? Like, what happened to a little bit of modesty?
Right. And that is out the window.
The music, the things that are on TV, like, I've been watching the series, and, like, why do they have to, like, throw that in there? Like, I was interested in it without all the sex. Do you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's
fuck
not
everything right now.
And so I agree that I do think that, like, the prevalence of it, with social media especially, everything has just escalated. And it's
not getting any better either.
No, it's not. And I don't foresee that happening, unfortunately.
Mm-mm.
No.
And it sucks, but who knows, maybe they'll have that I don't want to say great reset, but they'll have that thing where it's like, finally someone gets sick of it enough to where things change.
I think people are starting to wake up to reality. I think more and more people are starting to be like, how much worse can it get before it gets, before we start to
They're not accepting it anymore.
Like
they're doing something about it. Or trying to, at least. They're not just turning their phones off, putting it down. They're actually going in and be like, how can I change this?
Yeah, for sure. Now, how many kids do you have?
I have 3 sons and 2 stepsons, so 5 total.
Wow.
All boys. Very fortunate.
Yeah. Right.
Very fortunate.
Yeah.
So I have.
That's probably true, man. I have 2 daughters, and I am scared daily, like literally.
Yeah, look at his shirt.
Yeah,
I have
my daughter.
2 and 2. My oldest is a girl, and she's 14 now, and that.
What a horrible age. To raise a daughter.
Yeah. I remember being a good 14-year-old. Not that she's a bad 14-year-old, but
again, the times.
Yeah, things are just so much different now.
My kids are very different person. So Caleb, now I don't know if you met Caleb. He's been to a few months. Well, he wasn't at this last one. His vehicle was broken down, but he's my 20. I started real young. I was 18. Mm-hmm. He's 22. Incredible kid.
Yeah.
Just great sense of humor, light of the party type guy. Always great vibes. Always fun to be around.
Nice.
And then Ryan, my middle son, he just turned 18, and he's more the enforcer.
Okay.
Like Ryan grew up around other kids that were kind of rough, and so I did something similar like my dad did. I taught him what I knew, and then put him in Jimmy Jeanette's class for a while to, get not so much more confidence, but it's weird. Like back in the days when we used to get in things, it was always one-on-one.
Yeah.
As now Ryan, would show me videos of kids fighting at his school, and it's 2 against 3.
Groups,
It's very strange. And so I do shift work for a living, so I'm working 12 hours a day, 48, 60 hours a week, and I'll do what I can with Ryan. Then I put him in Jimmy's class for a while, and the same kind of thing. Ryan got some confidence. He's able to know he can handle himself, and those kids that used to mess with Ryan don't mess with him anymore.
Yeah.
And so it's nice, especially with me getting older. It's like if you or I were to have to do something to someone, it's going to have to be worth it, because our hands, knees, neck are going to hurt. Then you have the paperwork and all that stuff. Is most of these young kids, they just turn them away.
Yeah.
There's that whole, I guess it depends on the severity, but I know a lot of the younger kids, 18 to 20, something happens, they're usually just turned away. Like, just go home.
Yeah.
Don't be stupid type stuff. As you and I know better, so there's going to be a lot more to deal with, consequence-wise. Depending on the severity, of course. Mm-hmm. And we just dealt with it the other day where some kids threw watermelon at my house. For no reason. My neighbors.
Wow.
Always been cool with these kids, but teenagers are destructive sometimes, you know. And when I was younger and we'd egg a house, it was someone we didn't like.
Right, yeah.
These kids were just doing it because they were bored, which is scary. Like you brought up the younger generation. They get bored, they get destructive. Yeah. And it doesn't matter who it is.
Right.
And so they threw... I went out in the morning, man, I found watermelon chunks. Just missed my Camaro. That would have crossed the line. That would have pissed me off.
Shit.
But there was watermelon chunks in my driveway, and then this random-ass bottle of Chick-fil-A sauce.
Really?
It had scrapes on the front, so you know it's skid.
Yeah.
And so I text my neighbor, and I was like, hey, you got watermelon? You guys have watermelon? She said, oh, yeah, we had a watermelon party last night. I was like, oh, it made it to my place. And so I went over to talk to the kid, and not the son, but his friends, like, slammed the door in my face.
Really?
Flipped me off, called me some names. So I was like,
the friend did?
Yeah, the friend of this kid.
Fuck that.
Yeah, and so I was like, all right, I'm going to wait till they come out. I'm going to call Ryan.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. And Ryan come out and scared the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Like, those kids grabbed their backpacks and left. They were telling Ryan he's going to go to jail. Ryan didn't care.
Well, what the hell did they even do it for?
I asked him that, and I just got the shoulder shrugs. Like, oh, I don't know. I was like, you guys were just bored and threw shit at my house?
Yeah.
And Chase, the kid that lives next door, he's a good kid. He really is. He just has the shit friends.
Bad crowd.
Yeah. And he came right over and cleaned it up. I said, why are you cleaning this up, man? Just make your buddies. And I had that kind of, you know, his father took off, so I had those fatherly close form. Like, these friends are no good, man. I always used to tell my kids that, like, if there was a friend of theirs I didn't like, I'd let it be known. Like, I don't like this kid. He's bad news. Ryan had a kid that stole a car from his mom, and it's like, you can't be doing that. I don't like that. You can't be around. I can't tell that kid what to do. Right. I can tell him I don't like it, but he's probably not going to give a shit.
Well, I mean, his circle defines him. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's the thing about, you know, as we know, it's like the people you hang around with define who you are and who you're going to become. So if you want to hang around with trash, you're going to end up in the trash can.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Very true. I keep eyeballing your medals here, man. I love them.
I do too.
That's really cool.
This was from Nationals. I got second place at Nationals.
So you actually went to Las Vegas?
Yeah, I went last year. Last year I went to Nationals. This year I'm going to Vegas in November for Worlds. So that's what these ones were for. Were to qualify for Worlds. So that'll be in November. Hopefully I'll make my state records even better than I did this week. So you did
great, man. I love watching it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. We were not 100%. We were between 90 and 100%. So I have more in the tank. Mm-hmm. Maybe not on bench. Bench is weak for me.
Your squat and deadlift looked like you had a lot more in the tank. That's such a hard thing to judge too,
right?
Because it feels different than how it looks. Like you were saying, your squat went up easy. Yeah, it went up easy. But in my mind and body, I was like, this sucks. This hurts. Same with the deadlift. The deadlift flew up, but anyone who lifts with me knows when I'm uncomfortable. Like Jamie knows, my girlfriend knows, my kids know. If I close my eyes, it hurts.
Really?
Yes. Yeah. If I close my eyes, it's very uncomfortable and it hurts. And that's just how I focus.
Yeah.
Making sure my body's aligned right.
Right.
And I'm not looking at random people yelling and screaming. Just closing, just tuning all that out and focusing on the lift, making sure I don't be that guy that's on YouTube folding his legs backwards and stuff.
Well, and that's for me. I focus on. I didn't even hear the music. I didn't hear the crowd. I heard the judge. Mm-hmm. That was it. That was all I was zoned into.
That's what you're trained to. Isn't that surreal, man? You don't hear the music. You don't hear anything. All you hear is the commands.
Yeah, and it was a good meet. It was a good Father's Day weekend. What are your plans? I'm trying to get Mikki back to competing again.
I have this one.
No, that's actually mine. But
I know, but I have the same one.
Yeah,
that one.
She has state records that are still standing, right?
I haven't looked.
You haven't looked.
I imagine they are.
I think they're updating them this week.
They get updated all the time.
Yeah, Jamie, when he lifted, he broke one. So these sat for Jamie, I think 2018. So these records that Jamie all broke was sitting there for 6 years.
Wow.
So he broke his own.
He broke, I don't know the guy, he broke whoever's on there last, but it was very light lifts. I don't know if it was, because it was a 308 weight class, and it was very light lifts, like a 300 squat, like a 280.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, they're on there. You should.
Wow.
You got to look those up. And so Jamie gained weight, huh?
Jamie weighs 308.
No, so he's over 274, and that puts you up a class in the 308. So you can weigh up to 308. Jamie put on. Jamie was the man in this lift. He put so much heart. I was so proud to lift with him and work out because we always lifted on and off. The schedules didn't align and stuff. So we got together and started taking it serious. Like, hey, we need to do this.
Right. Yeah.
And so Jamie put on like 20-something pounds.
Jeez.
His squat, bench. Because when I first met Jamie, was back in like 2012, 13 time, right about the time he got back from Vegas.
Okay.
And he was over 300 pounds.
Yeah.
He was a big dude. And then I think he had some kind of, he got sick, something with his kidneys or something. He got sick.
Oh, shit.
And he got down like 230 something pounds.
Wow.
Quickly. So he went way down. He's he still had a lot. That guy will be deadlifting 600 plus pounds until he's in his, he'll be like Sam. Yeah. He'll be picking up that much weight forever. His deadlift is unreal. I don't know if you ever shook his hand.
Right. Oh, yeah.
But it's like grabbing a catcher's
big ass
mitt.
fucking mitt. Oh,
yeah.
Jesus.
It's awesome. And he won best bench at the competition.
Yeah.
And he 100% deserved that because I couldn't name you one guy that's, I hope he doesn't get mad at me for this, but Jamie's 49.
Yeah.
I've never met
No,
a
he's
guy.
proud of that. That should be something to be proud of, too.
He wears it proud, too, because I've never seen someone near 50 that can bench over 400 pounds.
Right.
I've never met the guy. You could type it on YouTube and you see these guys with like a million followers and they're sponsored by all these things. Jamie goes and works 8 to 10 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then comes to the gym and benches 400 pounds.
Yeah.
I don't know any men that do that
49
anymore.
years old.
That's some real gangster shit there.
Yeah.
And his squat keeps going up, his deadlift. I mean, he really wanted that deadlift bad.
I know. He lost the
When you're willing to tear your hands apart to get that.
Yeah.
So I was really hoping he'd get that, but he had more in the tank for squat. His bench flew up.
Right.
And so him and I are going to try to do that one in December.
Hell yeah.
The same meet. I think they're going back.
Newport?
Yeah, they're going back to Newport. I've kind of tinkered with the idea of doing that Iron Games in Albany. And that's in September, I think.
Ooh, what's all included in that?
Is that like a strongman thing?
No, I think it's the same thing. It's sponsored by Rogue.
Okay.
I believe if I read right.
Oh.
So it's a powerlifting or okay.
And they're doing it at the fairgrounds, Albany Fairgrounds.
Really?
So what they're doing is they're streaming the event.
Yeah.
And I guess it's a competition between, I don't want to say the nation, but everyone's live streaming. It's all in one big live stream.
Yeah.
On that, and Grigsby's going to be there.
Hell yeah.
Which is, that was cool to watch him deadlift.
Yeah. That was
such a nice guy too, man.
What was his rep? It was like 830 or something like that. He repped out 4 or something.
Yeah, he cranked out 5 well above 800. I want to say it was like around 850-ish or something.
850 pounds.
That guy picks up. That guy is insanely strong. I just saw his video yesterday where he's squatting 700 for reps.
Jesus.
It's like some people are built for that stuff, man. I've only been powerlifting 4 years, maybe 2020, about 5 years now.
Wow.
Because my first competition, I want to say, was right before COVID.
Yeah.
And I was at Forever Strong. That was my very first competition. It was awful. I got hurt in warm-ups.
Oh, no.
So the back issue is probably going to be a thing the rest of my life. Drunk driver hit me, broke my back. It never healed right. It sucks, man. It's awful. And so I was at Forever Strong. I was a little nervous. I don't usually get nervous because, you box in front of tons of people. But it was my first time trying something on a stage like that. And I was warming up in squats. My flight was next. I never used those weird J hooks they have. Yeah. And I think Devin was behind me watching me. And I went to rack it and I caught a hook and twisted my body. And my back just done.
Shit.
And so I went up there. I had a good squat and bench, but my deadlift, I just went up there and basically picked up the bar.
Yeah.
And Pete was really concerned. I always like doing Pete's meets because he's just like, "Are you all right?
He's a nice guy.
Don't do any more," type stuff. I wasn't even going to do deadlifts, and he was the one that came and told me like, "Hey, you got to do them to get your records."
Yeah.
And so I was like, "Oh, I didn't know that," because I had my singlet halfway off, telling him like I ain't doing it. And he's like, "No, just go up there and pick the bar up, basically. Put on 135 and pick it up." Yeah. And even that was gruesome, man. It hurt so bad, and I had to pull it sumo. Yeah, that's rough. That's the only way I could, because I didn't have to use, sumo, you can use more of your legs. Yeah. And so I pulled sumo forever because it was so much better on my back. But then I noticed I was starting to have other problems. Yeah. With deadlifting and whatnot. And there was a point where I wanted to do strongman. Through Will Dinwiddie had a gym called Epic Fitness. Yeah. I think it was Epic Fitness, I want to say. Yeah, and it really was. I think Epic, I remember seeing that around here. And Will Dinwiddie, he used to be a judge for a while. He was I think think he was a national champion arm wrestler.
Oh, wow.
The dude has so many goals, and what I always respected about Will is he always did what he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to open a gym. He opened one. I'm going to win arm wrestling. He won it. I'm going to win strongman. He did it.
Yeah.
Powerlifting, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And the first time I met that guy, he squatted 405 for like 20 reps or something.
Jesus.
Like it was a warm-up. I never, it's on YouTube, man. They would tell me about it. I was like, really?
Yeah.
And he went out there and was just up and down. I don't even think he had knee sleeves on, man. It was just like bouncing up and down. I couldn't believe it. That guy had such unreal strength at the time. He still does, I'm sure. He had a telephone pole out there that was cut. It weighed like 300 pounds. Picking that up.
Jesus. I just can't even believe how strong people are. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's like I'm working so hard to be strong. And for my age and weight, I'm pretty strong. But it's like people are stronger, and I don't like that.
Well, it's like you said, too, man. We're like that 0.00001%.
Right, of like, the planet. Yeah.
You line you up against 100 other 48-year-old dudes, you're probably the strongest guy.
Yeah, yeah. And I keep trying to remind myself of that. But I compare myself to you. I compare myself to 20-year-olds.
It's definitely surreal. So I had that little spat in strongman for a little bit, and COVID kind of ruined the. I was gonna go for, I don't remember what the meet was called, but they had like the Husaful stone. It's a coffin-shaped stone you pick up, and the farmer's walk. So I was getting really strong and good at it, and they just fell through. And I guess Will closed down the gym, and I'm not sure what he's doing these days, but he closed down his gym. He was focusing on something else. I think he does like security now. And then I got back into powerlifting. Yeah. And that meet that Downing's had at Corvallis was probably my best meet besides this last one, because it was like against. It just felt like it was stacked against all of us. It was during a wildfire. It was during COVID. There was all this nasty stuff going on, and I was in the Open, the Submasters, because I was 38, I want to say, 37, 38. Yeah. And it was only my third competition, and I killed it, man. I won first place in everything, set like 16 state records.
Woo, shit.
It was so cool. So the accomplishments I've had on that so far, I think I've set over 25 state records.
No shit.
3 age groups and 3 bodyweight groups, because I started out at 242.
Yeah. Wow.
And then went to 275.
Cool.
And then when I started TRT, it's like the body weight came on kind of quick, but it was good body weight.
That's good.
And I got above 275 in a hurry. I'm sure I could get under that.
Yeah.
But man,
would you want to?
Oh, not yet.
Yeah.
Not
so
yet.
What do you weigh right now?
281 dry right now.
Okay.
I wake up in the morning, I weigh myself, I'm 281 pounds.
And it feels good. Your body feels good.
I feel great.
Yeah.
I feel really good. Not when I hike Pisgah.
Right.
But I feel pretty good doing my everyday chores and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it's not hurting your joints and your shit like that, right? I've gotten, for my height, I think the most I've gotten up to was 195. And I felt fucking horrible. I felt horrible. That it just did not feel good at all. And I'm just short. I'm not supposed to be short and that stocky. So I walk around right now around 180, between 180 and 186.
It fits you good, man.
And I feel I like being short and stocky. I got a little pudge, but it's gonna be there. I'm not, I'm also at least 18% body fat. I got down to 11% body fat, and I got down to, in order to get down to that body fat percentage, I weighed 161. Wow. Yeah, I was shredded. I got a state record at that weight class in, I think, bench press. But I didn't like that weight. I don't like being that small. I looked good, but I just did not feel right. It just didn't feel good.
It's a fine balance, man. It's always like, I've only known a few people who can pull off a definition like that and still be...
Not sustainable, right?
Arik Anderson, man. You just had him on here?
We just had, that dude's a beast.
We call each other, I call him my son, he calls me his son.
Right.
But I'm older than him, so I win that one. It's funny, him and I switched spots, because when I first met Arik, he was a powerlifter, I was the boxer.
Yeah.
And then he came in, we did a couple boxing things, and we worked out together, and it's like over a course of like 6 months, all of a sudden I do powerlifting, but he's still really strong, man. I'd probably gas out in a round or two. He could probably still bench and squat. His bench was always bench is real narrow,
super narrow.
And hitting 490 comp and stuff.
That's crazy, man.
It's incredible that strength that guy has.
Yeah,
but when I did the meet in Lincoln City, I weighed like 294, and that was super uncomfortable.
Really?
Like the belt was pinching me. I looked weird. I didn't feel very good. Just walking up the stairs the way in, I was like,
really?
Yeah, it was a tough spot, and I just wanted to get above that 274.
Yeah.
But I didn't pay attention to my body, man. I was throwing down food left and right without countering any of it with cardio or anything like that. I just was trying, because it was a short amount of time I had from the Forever Strong meet to this one. I put on 35 pounds. I want to say half of it was good weight. Okay. The other half was trash weight.
Yeah. So do you do cardio regularly now?
Yeah. I kind of alternate weeks about it right now, because I should push it a little more. I used to be able to lose a lot of like wrestler weight. I used to be able to cut weight really fast with cardio, and I don't want to get above or below 274 just yet. Yeah. I like floating around 280. I'm still big. I still look semi-muscular.
Super strong.
And I like
semi-muscular.
That. And I could still hike and do things I like doing without really killing myself. Is when I was heavier, it was even worse. And when I was lighter, it just didn't. There was no strength there.
Have you gotten an in-body?
A what?
One of those in-bodies? Like
body scan?
Yeah.
Where they tell you,
no.
like,
you should come to FS, because they have it's called a staiku, and you step on it, and it circles you around, it spins you, and it gets a whole 360-degree view of your body. Very accurate. But it will give you, obviously it'll show you a picture of what you look like, but it will give you all the rundowns, your whole body.
All your measurements.
Yeah, all your measurements, your body fat, your how many inches this is versus that. So it's cool.
That's something. They have something like that at any time, but you hold these handles.
Yeah.
I don't know how accurate it is. I only do it for my body weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
But,
this one will give you the whole scan. It'll tell you how much muscle to fat to, and all your measurements. It measures everything too. So
I always like the bathroom ones you step on that measure body fat, because I always said I had like 13% body fat.
Right.
which I knew was bullshit, but still you're like, I'm the man.
Right.
This said only 13% body fat.
Hey, it said it. It's legit.
I have one of those handheld ones, right, that you hold out in front of you.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what I always tracked it off of, right? And then I went and I stood on one of those like they have at any time, and it was humbling.
It's like your reality check.
It's like, holy shit.
Yeah.
That is not, I'm not 13%.
Right. Well, my scale at home, I've been like before competition, I weighed 177, 178, 179, right? I get to competition for weigh-ins, 82.4 kilos, and my weight was 82.5.
What is that?
Meaning my scale's fucking wrong.
Is it?
Or their scale is.
Is it over or under? Yours?
Mine, if it was under.
It's under.
So I thought I was like below 180, right? No, I was like 0.1. Yeah. So
you look dialed in though, man. You were focused.
Yeah. Well, you know what's funny is I'm used to drinking energy drinks and pre-workout before training and competition. Didn't have any of that. I didn't have any energy drinks, no pre-workout, nothing. Just my I have Spark in the morning, but that was at like 5:30 or 6. My steak, 5 eggs, raw eggs, heavy cream, and 1 baked potato, and that was my energy for the meat. No energy drinks, no pre-workout, and I was so fucking dialed in. I was so calm. I was so relaxed. That, to me, that's the ingredient right there. And as you know, I was talking about this with Arik and Carlos the other day. With like fighting, you want to be calm and relaxed, right? You want to be methodical about things. And I think with like energy drinks and pre-workout, you can get so hyped up. Yeah. And you're burning energy when you're doing that. You're so pumped up, you're so hyped up. And I'm one of those guys that when I'm around people, I'm trying to hype them up too. I was just sitting, listening to my music, just fucking chilling. And I was, and it went I went 10 for 10. I've never gone fucking 3 for 6 or 6 for 3. I
you had all your lights.
Yes,
that's so
every
cool.
single one of them. Well, I had one red on my last squat, which was fine because it was still a good squat. I got 2 whites, but it would have been nice to have 0 reds. But I've never not bombed at least 1 lift. So I think that's the way I need to compete. Like for Worlds, I need to be completely relaxed, completely in control. Because then for me, I didn't really get nervous either. Right? You add that stimulant, it helps you get nervous, I think. Mm-hmm. And I take it from a fighter perspective where it's like, I need to be in control of this situation, meaning I have to control my emotions in this situation, and that's what I did, and I had a perfect competition.
Calm lifting. Yeah.
Calm, collected.
I was the exact opposite, man. I had Slipknot on repeat, and
well, I had my music in, I had that, but I didn't have like any extra stimulants to stimulate my body. I let my mind stimulate my body, right? And it's
focus.
the same. Yeah, focus, controlled explosion, right? And that's what you want in a fight. That you want to be completely in control of your emotions in a fight.
You gas out quick. If
right?
You're just out there throwing bombs.
Right. Well, and I think
quick.
that's the same with lifting. Like if you're overstimulating yourself, you're going to gas out because you're overexerting. Right. So that just seems it worked for me. So
it works. I've heard a lot of people go through that. I took an energy drink. I didn't sleep well the night before.
Right.
I'm coming off a graveyard shift, so I'm trying to wake up, and it's mostly mentally and physically. Physically, I feel good.
Yeah.
But they called my name on the video. I'll have to show you. They called my name on the last bench, and I was 4 guys back, like just staring at the ground, like, oh man, what am I going to eat after this?
Right.
And then I heard Alex go, Evan, you're up. I was like, oh shit, hurry up, get my wrist wraps on, go out there, killed the lift.
Yeah.
But I just wasn't focused at that time.
Yeah.
After squats, I was already kind of feeling like, oh man, my back's bothering me. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
I was getting down on myself. I was losing focus, and then I hit that last bench, and I was tuned in again.
Yeah.
And when I did warm-ups back there, I kind of knew I was only going to do one, and I just went for the state record. It was 5:07. I did 5:12, which is the requirement to beat it.
Right.
And after I set it down, I was like, maybe I can go another one. Maybe I'll try for 5, because my best deadlift, I haven't broke 600 yet. I think I'm like 5. I was never a good big deadlifter, and I hit like a 585, I think, which is 6 wheels in training plus the deadlift bar, and it went up pretty good, but I only hit it that one time, and then it crippled me for like a month, and then it's so slow climbing back up, and it's only my deadlift. There will be days I can hit 3 wheels on my bench pretty good. Then there's other days I do a few reps and I'm like, ow, my elbow, or I'm tired, and you get frustrated. You know how it goes with training. You're like, why the hell is this heavy? This should not be heavy right now. This should be flying off my chest.
Yeah.
And I always tell my kid, because Caleb's trying to get into it right now, my oldest boy, and I always tell him the same thing. He'll get pissed. And I'll be like, just consistency, man. Stay focused. Remember, you're wasting energy. You're not wasting, but you're using a lot of energy at work too. He works at a lumber mill.
Oh yeah.
So I said, there's going to be those days, man, where it's just like, that lift ain't going to hit.
It's not there,
Ask anyone who's done great in anything in their life, and they've always went through the good and the bad. Oh,
hell yeah. Well, shit, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks before comp, was it 3 weeks, about 3 weeks? I tore something here.
I remember you telling me you were worried about that.
Yeah, I was like, fuck, are you serious?
And you didn't do shit, man. You bounced right out of the hole on your squat.
Yeah.
I wish I could have been there. If I didn't have to work, man, I love Newport. I would have stayed there anyways.
Yeah.
But I had to work that next day, which was awesome because they just stuck me in the office. They already knew what was going on. I love where I work. They were really cool about it.
Nice.
They're like, yeah, go in the office, just answer your emails, do your work.
Hell yeah.
You don't have to come out here. And the job I'm at is pretty physically lean anyways.
Cool.
But yeah, that was nice to just go in there. I didn't have to be there until 2 in the afternoon because I used the floater day.
Yeah.
And so I was there from like 2 to 6.
Nice.
And it was easy money, man. It was great.
Right on.
And yeah, I think I would like to try the Iron Games just to do it.
Yeah.
I won't be shooting really big. I don't think I talked to Jamie. Me and him are really trying to do these lifts meets together, and sounds like he's in for December too. So I don't know if that's something you're gonna try again.
I'm going to Worlds. My focus.
Oh, Worlds is in November.
Yeah,
huh?
Worlds is in November. So that's that. I'm not doing anything until then because I don't want injuries. I don't want, you know what I mean. Like this week after competition, I had competition, and then work. So I haven't. This is like the first day I've had nothing since I competed, because I've done 3 complete details, 1 exterior detail, and then I had a seat that I cleaned blood out of. So I've been slammed all week. So this is the first break I've had. But other than that, I'm gonna work. I'm gonna train for Worlds, and then
Number one focus. That's awesome. I can't wait to see it.
Yeah,
man.
yeah. I think it'll be live streamed. I'm sure it'll be live streamed. So
Worlds.
yeah.
It better be. Damn.
Yeah.
What about you? You're gonna come back and lift? We talked about it a couple of times.
I really love the compound lifts. Like, regardless of what I'm doing with training, that I always, like, go back to that. Like, no, I don't want to do fucking goblet squats. Like, this is bullshit, right? And I always end up going back to the compound lifts. When we were training with Devon a few years ago, I hurt my back pretty bad. I don't know what happened. I never went to the doctor. But it put me out for, like, 6 to 7 months. And so it's like the back of my head with deadlifts. I know that it's like mental, right? But anytime like I'm doing a deadlift and I feel any like little twinge in my back, it just totally fucks with me. This morning I was doing RDLs with only a 55-pound bar, just going really slow, and I felt it, and I was like, "What the fuck? This is 55 pounds, right?"
Yeah.
Still giving you issues?
Yeah, here and there, and then I heard it again this last December.
Yeah.
When I was doing deadlifts, I felt great. I was gonna max out that day, and I was deadlifting, and I hurt my fucking back, and it threw me to the floor.
Man.
So, and it puts me out of service. Like this last time, it put me out for. Mike had to bring me a walker,
Yeah.
so I could walk around my house. It was like 3 or 4 days.
And a toilet.
And a toilet, the
Very
riser,
little.
so I could like get on up. Anyway, that's like at the back of my head. Like, this isn't fucking worth it, right? Because I have 4 kids. Like, I have a job I have to do. I have a house I have to take care of. Mm-hmm. I'm married, so right, my husband is there. He's helping and shit, but like I can't be incapacitated for 4 days like that. I can't do that anymore. And so there's this part of me that's like, do I really need to deadlift? I just want to deadlift, but like we're getting older, and this shit is.
You need to.
Mm-hmm. I want to see it
In competition.
There's some meets
what
where I
about my
have back
55
Yeah.
pounds? That's.
Right.
doable.
But I mean, the 55 pounds, I made it work because you move that shit slow,
Yeah.
right? Like it'll tear up my muscles. So I've learned to really like use lighter weights. I can still make like a huge impact, but
Yeah.
I haven't deadlifted heavy since I hurt my back.
Yeah.
And that was only 245, and I felt great. I was ready to. I was gonna max out.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Movement training too. I've started learning that a lot more too. I used to just go in there and throw weights on. I'd go lighter and heavier. I never did any other movements. And over at Anytime they have, of course, Ryan and Tyler, and they teach you a lot of certain movements and where muscles activate better and stuff. And after working with those guys, it's been a huge improvement on a lot of the lifts. Right. I had Tyler. He does that mat training stuff where kind of helps you loosen up. I did that 2 or 3 sessions before this.
I've heard awesome stuff about him.
He's great, amazing guy, nice guy too. He's like the witch doctor, man. He wants to cure all your ailments and stuff. He just doesn't have the bone through the nose or anything like that. He's a great guy. You know, I've known him for a while, but I've been having elbow problems on eccentric movement for bench press. Yeah. And it's only when I get above 3 wheels, and he'll put you on his table, do all these movements that you didn't even know you could do. Yeah. Or in certain muscle activation techniques. I think that's what it stands for. And I didn't have one issue with my elbow at the meet. Not one issue. And that was a big problem mentally, because we all know mentality can kill a lift.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And that's what it
when
did.
It's in the back of your
is my arm just going to fold out? Right. It doesn't as much anymore. When I was getting heavier lifts, when I would try to push through injuries, I always worried about being that guy on YouTube that your leg just buckles or your arm just folds.
I can't. When people send me those videos, I fucking delete them.
I can't watch them.
Watching that shit.
Was it like Gym TV or something that was on Instagram a long time ago? It was like a few years ago. I had to unsubscribe. I'm like, I can't watch these people
that shit
with their knees buckling on the leg.
Like that dude that died doing the squats a couple months back.
I didn't see that one.
Yeah, don't see it. Don't watch it. And it's like I had like 6 people send me that video, and I'm like, delete. I'm not trying to watch it. I'm trying to fucking squat over 400 pounds. You want me watching that shit? My fucking, I weigh 180 pounds. I'm squatting 400. I'm trying to squat 400 pounds. You want me watching that shit?
You can squat 400.
I can. I just haven't done it at competition.
Yeah, not at competition.
Yeah, it's funny because as we get older, I'm having to, and my coach is making sure I do this, a lot more warm-ups. Because I used to be the type, because I'm so busy. It's like I get in, okay, I'll do something, and then get right to it. But now I'm going in a little earlier just so I could spend 20, 30 minutes getting my body ready to start lifting. Yeah. So It's so important.
Now, I noticed one common denominator I noticed in a lot of those videos is it's all geared lifters. Guys that have their knees wrapped tight or wear those canvas suits. And I don't know if you've ever done geared lifting before.
I've done the wraps one time. Never fucking again. I swear those things fuck my knees up.
Made your toes numb.
Oh, bro.
Can't even feel your lower legs.
I couldn't even get to depth in those. I couldn't get to depth in with those things on. And, horrible.
You have to have a strong back for that, too. I learned that the hard way myself, where I listened to some people I shouldn't listen to, and they're like, just throw wraps on, man, you'll squat way more. Well, I didn't have the back strength to hold up. The knee strength was there.
Shit.
And there was we had the safety bars in, but I'd go down for a squat and then just boink right forward.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, now I got to build my back strength up.
Yeah.
And that was probably one of my favorite things about this last meet is there's only like 2 geared lifters there.
Yeah.
I've done a meet before. I won't say I got screwed out of it because, it's the rules. I didn't get screwed out of anything. But they have, I went to a meet one time and they had like a dozen of those geared lifters and canvas shirts and all those wraps. And they have a rule where you can go up and pick the bar up, set it back down, and you get an extra minute or something or 30 seconds. The lifters behind you will get cold. A lot of clocks. When I used to take it more serious, and I'd have these clocks in my mind, like, okay, as long as I lift within this minute, I should be 100%.
Right.
Because I don't know if it's ever happened to you, but if you lift cold, it sucks.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Your form looks terrible. Yeah. Just everything seems off track, and so they have these guys, man. That, I mean, they're incredible. They're much older, but they're geared head to toe. They have the canvas suits on, the wraps, and everything, and they have 3 guys putting this shit on them.
Yep.
And it cost me one of my lifts because I was cold on a squat, and I think, I didn't come out of the only squat I ever failed.
Really?
And I didn't come out of the hole because my mind just, I don't know if it was my mind, if I was cold, whatever. I was pissed because these guys were taking too long. But the 3 lifters in front of me all did that.
Wow.
Unracked it, racked it, got extra time. And by the time I got up there, it was probably 12 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Oh, God, that's horrible.
Yeah, it sucked, man.
That is horrible.
Yeah, that's one of the rules I wish they would change. Like, you can do that once and you only get a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And most people won't do that. I mean, maybe
I've never seen that, actually.
Maybe it's gym etiquette. I've seen people before where they weren't wrapped in time and someone would holler, come out here and lift the bar up. And they're like, no, just go to the next lifter.
Yeah.
I think that's more honorable because it's your responsibility to see that chart and be like, oh shit, I'm on deck.
Up. Yep.
Start wrapping up.
Yeah, for sure.
I had no problem. I did one meet where I wrapped my knees and I made sure if I was on deck, I was wrapping right there.
Yeah.
That way, before my toes would get numb and all that shit, I'd go out there, hit my lift, wraps are off, next guy still is warm.
Yeah.
You got to be considerate of the other lifters.
Hell yeah.
I always thought that was the unwritten rule, but these 7 or 8 dudes before at Lincoln City, man, were just every one of them did it.
Oh, fuck that.
And a couple guys held world records. A couple guys shouldn't have been wearing that shit.
Yeah.
Because if you put on the canvas suit is so uncomfortable. It's not designed to move. Yeah. So you got to put a shit ton of weight on it to get the depth.
Just to pull it down.
Oh, yeah. I did the bench. That's what my national records held in is equipped bench.
Oh, okay.
And I think it was just kind of a shot out of a cannon thing. I was talking to a couple guys, and I was like, hey, I could break that national record. And it was I can't remember, it was 242, 275, because I was still pretty light-bodied. And put that shirt on for the first time, and I couldn't even get my arms out.
Oh, shit.
And so I was like, okay, and I didn't know much about them, so one of the trainers was like, okay, well, if you're going to use a bench shirt, don't put it on until you're at least at 4 wheels. I put that shit on at 3 wheels, and it wouldn't go any lower. I had to have someone push on it. So when you wear the bench shirt, you can't bench like you usually do. You have to go wider. Yeah. Because it has to bend down. Yeah. And that last 2 or 3 inches, man, it almost feels like you have to pull the bar into your chest.
So, what is the point then? I guess I don't understand the point.
I want to say ego.
So much assistance. It's doing so much work for you.
I want to say ego lifting. I know that's not the case. That's what I call it. It was for me. Yeah. I saw a national record I could beat doing that, and I was like, I want to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
I've never trained with it since.
Which is fine. Yeah, but I guess ego.
I guess the opposite, right? Because you have to pull it into you versus pushing it away.
The movements, but it's definitely, it's a guided lift, man. It's like when you do pec press.
How much do you think it's taking off the bar?
Well,
like literally.
Oh shit!
Say there's 800 pounds on the bar. How much are you technically lifting?
probably close to 500 maybe.
Okay, so you're still lifting a shit ton, but
right. When I was doing it, I think my one-time touch and go,
You're pushing it away. You're not even lifting it.
It's the eccentric movement. You don't feel very much. You're just kind of guiding it down to hit your sternum, or your right spot.
And that's why it's so slow, because you're.
Well, you see a lot of the guys that do it have those big bellies.
Yeah.
And they have this rhythm. Oh, it's awesome. They get this rhythm where they can come down and touch. All you have to do is touch.
Yep.
And then they say up. And you get some good. Most of the judges, I've never had really any bad judges, but as soon as that bar touches, I think it's a 1/1000 push.
Yeah.
There's a couple judges. It was like it seemed like a 3 count seemed forever, but I come down. This was in Star, Idaho. I went and did it, and there was a couple other guys there that were doing bench with shirts too, and it was awesome. It worked out perfect because they helped me put the shirt on.
Yeah.
It's a whole system, dude. You have to put the shirt on. You grab onto a bar. You have 3 dudes like yanking at it and stuff because it does not give.
Wow.
And to make matters worse, I got shingles the day of the meeting. And no shit, I had shingles. I thought I was getting like nervous hives because I'm going to this place in Idaho, national record. I was like, all right, cool. And I was like, man, my right side's getting all these weird hives. And I was kind of weirded out because only my right side was getting it.
Yeah.
And that's what shingles do.
Right.
And I'm not claiming to be educated on the matter, but that was something I only thought older people got.
That's what I thought too.
No, I got it. And so
it's usually often from like a stress response.
And that's probably what it was, because I was having a rough time, and got the lift. The next day, I couldn't even take my shirt off. Wow. It was like razor blades down my side, so the timing was perfect.
Yeah.
But that bench shirt, getting it off's not hard because you're sweaty. Usually, they put some baby powder, but getting that shirt on was one of the toughest things. So my raw all-time before being on TRT and stuff was like 402, I think is what I hit.
Wow.
And I think my national record was just shy of 500. So it'll add 100 pounds easily. More. I've seen people do more.
Yeah.
But that was just my first time. My friend Matt uses a bench shirt, and he can bench like almost 200 pounds more than his raw max.
Okay.
So depending on your movement, maybe your stomach size and whatever, if you get the bar down there, you can push a lot of weight off you guys.
Yeah.
I thought about doing it because, I'm on TRT and stuff, so I went on the nationals for non-tested. I was like 812-pound bench.
Really?
A single ply.
Yeah.
Multi-ply, I couldn't even imagine what multi-ply is like.
Yeah.
Single ply is just real thin. Well, it's not giving, but it's, it's a canvas. Yeah. I couldn't imagine what multi-ply is like. That's probably way harder.
Yeah.
And I won't even touch those, especially at my age. I was like, wow, 812-pound bench?
Jesus.
That would have been cool to see in real life.
Yeah.
But that guy probably had a stomach out there, too.
That's what I don't like about the arch, like the bench arch. That people, like, you get some people that can have those really high arches and then they're basically just going like that. I think that in some confederations there are rules that are coming in.
Yeah, they changed it to where now
the
your
elbow
45 or whatever.
Yeah, which I agree with. I think that
show you can actually do the movement.
Yes,
the range of
motion,
motion.
Like a range of motion. That's it's insane.
I was pretty mixed on that too because you get those. It was mostly the females, like 130-pound females benching like 300 pounds, but they move the bar
like an inch or two.
Yeah, and you're just like, wow. But then you got to admire it at the same time, like their spine is basically rubber.
Right.
You're like, wow, how did you move like that?
That's what you admire the most.
That's very impressive.
Right? Yeah.
I arch too much, my back starts cramping and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
It's
I've
rough.
actually, my back, I went in for bench one time. And mine did that.
Yeah.
It was horrible.
Those people do it like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Like they're made of rubber.
Yeah. It's insane.
They changed some rules. There's probably going to be, like you said, a lot of rule changes with certain lifts and stuff. I've seen a lot of people on the USPA side complain about sumo deadlifts because some people get so wide with their deadlift they pull it. But at the same time, I admire it because it's like that's a whole different muscle group you're doing for deadlifts. You can shit on sumo deadlift all you want. I'm still impressed by them, the body movement, the way they're set up, and they can move that much weight, especially like Dan Grigsby. Dan Grigsby can still conventional deadlift a shit ton of weight. I want to say it's like 800 pounds or something. Mm-hmm. Guy's still strong as shit in conventional.
Yeah, I train both. We train a little.
It's good body movement, man. Strengthens different positions.
Different muscles. Yeah.
We do a Ukrainian deadlift.
Oh yeah.
On the boxes, I have one of those Spuds handles.
Yep.
And that's about the only time I do that anymore. I stack those weight boxes
way up there. Yeah.
And that's one of my favorite movements because it feels really good on the lower back.
Right.
Where I have all those problems.
Yeah. Good stretch.
Mm-hmm. And so I haven't sumo deadlifted in a competition, my last 2 competitions.
Yeah.
I just wanted to really get up. It's more of a mind thing for me. I wanted to get that 600 conventional really bad.
Yeah.
That's my next goal.
Right. You get there.
I'm really hoping so, man. With enough rest and massages and maybe a narco or 2. No, I'm kidding. Something that'll numb the pain for a little bit.
Yeah. Well, we're at an hour here, so let's go ahead and wrap this up, man. I really appreciate you coming on, bro.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. So when is that meet that you guys are thinking about doing?
The one in December.
Oh, December.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think Jamie's going to do the one in September. I'm on the fence about it still, too. It depends how training goes. I'm going to start again on Monday.
Yeah, cool.
And we'll see how that goes for the next month, and then I'll reach out to Downings and sign me up.
Hell yeah.
If they have any people.
Keep us posted. I can't wait to see. I love watching you guys live.
Same with you with Worlds, man. I want to see that stream. I want to see you tear it up. Get one of those dinner plate sized medals up there.
That's what I want. All right, my man. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me on.
All right,
thank you.